everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, How to Use the New State Distributing Agency Monthly Performance Report Template. My name is Katie Del Rosario, and I'll be the moderator today. This webinar is being recorded and will be available to view in the Processing Partner Web community. I'll send an email to all registered participants with the link to the recording when it becomes available, as well as a copy of the slides and a certificate of completion for one continuing education unit. Earlier today, I emailed a webinar reminder that contained an Excel file sample monthly performance report template attached to the email. You may wish to open this Excel document and follow along on the template during the webinar. Speaking today, we'll have Blair Tucker-Gruchala, Program Analyst in the Program Integrity and Monitoring Branch within Food Distribution. Let's get started, Blair.
Thanks, Katie. And thank you all for joining us for today's webinar. Before I begin, I encourage you to check your emails for the State Monthly Performance Report template example, which I will refer to as State MPR template to assist you in following along. F&S worked with state distributing agencies, SDAs, National Processing Agreement, MPA processors, and third-party data management companies to develop a standardized state performance report template to improve the efficiency and integrity of the USDA Foods processing program. The new form is easy to use and allows users to create customized reports that do not require printing. SDAs are encouraged to get to know the new template and use this report to reduce the time, effort, and cost associated with processors having to provide multiple versions of the same data. Moving forward, processors will be sending states the new State MPR template. In today's webinar, I will cover the following: the purpose of the State Performance Report, also called the State Monthly Performance Report or State MPR, stakeholder responsibilities as it relates to the MPRs, basic document navigation of the new State MPR template. I will provide details on how to create personalized reports by showing you how to filter MPR data, how to sort aggregate data, how to use the AutoSum function, and how to verify MPR data. Lastly, I will be providing information on how to maintain MPR files and the resources available on the USDA Foods National Processing Community Partner Web. Please note that today's webinar will not cover how to reconcile MPRs. At the end of the webinar, I will share available resources to assist you. States have a choice. Many choose to send USDA Foods to multi-state MPA processors or to approved in-state processors to manufacture finished end products that recipient agencies, RAs, want to use in serving students participating in the National School Lunch Program. Processing provides RAs with more options for using USDA Foods. MPA processors are required to submit MPRs to both the USDA and SDAs. Processors are also required to submit MPRs to the RA if there is a recipient agency processing agreement in place. The new template is a tool to monitor USDA Foods inventory at processors and to ensure the states and RAs receive the full benefit of the USDA Foods provided to processors. Each month, SDA should analyze the MPR to ensure the USDA food inventories do not exceed a 6-month supply unless the SDA's approved a written justification from the processor. This justification is a plan that must demonstrate what actions will be taken to utilize the inventory within the school year or during an agreed-upon time period. It also verifies that RAs receive the refund for the full value of USDA Foods in the finished end products received. When the processor submits a monthly performance report to the SDA, it must include the following information for the appropriate reporting period, including year-to-date totals: list of all eligible recipient agencies purchasing end products, the quantity of USDA foods in inventory at the beginning of the reporting period, the quantity of USDA foods received, the quantity of USDA foods transferred to the processor from another state or processor, the quantity of USDA foods transferred by the processor to another state or processor, the quantity of USDA food losses, the quantity of finished end products delivered to each eligible RA, the quantity of USDA foods remaining at the end of the reporting period, grading certificates as applicable, and other supporting documentation as required by the SDA or RA. Processors do not need to send a report for products with a beginning balance of 0 and there haven't been any receipts, adjustments, or shipments of finished end products for that USDA food code. The processor must report the reduction in USDA foods inventories on monthly performance reports only after sales of finished end products have been made or after sales of finished end products through distributors have been documented. In developing a standardized state performance report template, we've also outlined stakeholder responsibilities as it relates to the state MPR to improve overall stakeholder communication and to clarify expectations. Many of the responsibilities are the same for all stakeholders involved. Processors are responsible for submitting MPRs to the SDA. They must also monitor inventory, cancel orders, or amend delivery dates of USDA foods diverted to their facilities. Processors must also develop a plan which must be reviewed and approved by the SDA, which outlines their plan to reduce excessive inventory levels. Processors should also be promoting and marketing finished end products and only selling these products to eligible RAs. State distributing agencies must review and reconcile MPRs in addition to monitoring and actively managing processor inventories. SDAs must take action if USDA foods movement is stagnant, negative, or in excess of 6 months. SDAs must also review and approve processor plans for inventories over 6 months, cancel orders, or amend delivery dates of USDA foods diverted to processors. SDAs may also reduce excessive USDA food inventories at a processor by transferring USDA foods to another processor who has a processing agreement or to other RAs within the state who can utilize the pounds. Before such transfers are made, the SDA must ensure that the processor receiving the transfer will be able to efficiently process the USDA foods into finished end products and sell them to SFAs in a timely manner. If no SFAs are doing business with the processor, the SDA may consider transferring the pounds to another state. Remember, the goal is to use the pounds in the school year it was received. And as a reminder, all transfers must be approved by FNS. Recipient agencies have a responsibility to monitor and manage processor inventories, utilize inventories within the school year, and to communicate with the SDA if USDA food inventories are stagnant, negative, or in excess of 6 months. As with all the other stakeholders involved, the FNS National Office is also responsible for monitoring and managing processor inventories. If inventories are stagnant, negative, or in excess of 6 months, the National Office can require the SDA to transfer USDA food inventories at the processor to another state or another processor. Additionally, the National Office can cancel SDA orders or amend delivery dates of USDA foods diverted to the processor. Now that I've covered the purpose of the state MPRs, the information that is required to be included on the report, and stakeholder responsibilities, I will now cover basic navigation of the new state MPR template. The new template was developed to have a similar format as the National MPR template. Like the National MPR template, The new state MPR template is an Excel file format which allows users to easily analyze, filter, and sort aggregate data to create personalized reports. The new state MPR template provides the following: standardized MPRs for all MPA processors, standardized user training for one report template for all stakeholders and processing methods. SDAs will receive one comprehensive MPR document from each processor regardless of the number of USDA foods processed by that processor. In the next few slides, I will discuss some of the changes. Notice the tabs at the bottom of the slide. First, under the MPR Summary tab, look at column G, USDA Materials. You will notice that all of the USDA material codes and processing methods are on one report instead of multiple reports. This is a new feature. Another feature added to the MPR Summary tab is a column for months on hand. This provides an easy way to determine if inventory is within 6 months. If the pounds are over 6 months, the number will appear in red and negative inventory will show with a minus sign. We understand that some of the processors and third-party data system companies are still making updates to align with the new state MPR template. Now I'll draw your attention to the Sales Order Received tab, the SO Received tab. Similar to having all the material codes on one page on the MPR Summary tab, all the sales orders received for all material codes used in the state will appear on one report. On the new template, there is an Adjustments, Transfers, and Conversions tab, which is abbreviated as the ADJ TRF CNV tab. All adjustments, transfers, and conversions for all materials for the month appear on this tab. It is important to review all entries for accuracy. As a reminder, all transfers and conversions must be approved by F&S. On the Usage Part B tab, the new template shows all transactions for all USDA food material processing methods and recipient agencies on one page. For processors participating in today's webinar, the Instructions tab provides step-by-step instructions on how to complete the MPR. This is also a great resource for SDA staff responsible for managing USDA foods to see the methodology behind the data. The Whole Bird Poultry tab is very similar to the basic instructions for completing the MPR. However, it contains instructions specific to whole bird, chicken, and turkey. On the prior standard yield template, white meat and dark meat were shown in separate columns. On the new template, white and dark are shown as the material number followed by a W to designate white meat pounds and D for dark meat pounds. For example, large chicken pounds will be shown as 100-103W for white meat and 100-103D for dark meat. The W and D designations only apply to whole bird materials. You will not see a D on the other bulk poultry items, such as material number 100-113, which are chicken legs, or 100-883 turkey thighs. Now that I've covered the changes to the template, I will go through basic navigation features such as adjusting the column width, filtering, sorting, and the AutoSum function to create personalized reports. To begin, make sure all the data in the cells are readable. You can do this by quickly auto-fitting all columns on the worksheet. Click the Select All button and then double-click any boundary between two column headings. As an alternate, select All, and from the Home button in the Cell section, select Format and scroll to Auto-Fit Column Width to adjust the column. The filtering navigation tool is something you will use frequently. In this example, we are going to filter by recipient agency name on the Usage Part B tab. Select the entire header row. Then go to the Home button on the ribbon at the top of the SDA MPR. You should see the Sort and Filter button. After clicking on the button, click the word Filter. These are the filtering drop-down arrow boxes. In our example, we will filter the results by clicking on the recipient agency name filter box. You will see a list of all recipient agency names. In this example, click on the Select All checkbox and click on the Alachua County Schools, or you can also type the name in the search field and click on the magnifying glass. This example only shows the Alachua County Schools. From the filter box, you can also sort the data in one column or multiple columns. You can sort in ascending or descending order. This refers to names and numerical values. Next, I will show you where to find the AutoSum function. From the Home button in the Editing section is where you can access the AutoSum button. With these basic navigation features, you will now be able to verify MPR data for accuracy. To verify the pounds received by USDA Foods Material Code in the Sales Order Received tab, we must first filter the data by USDA material. In our example, we selected material code 110242. Once the material codes are filtered, you will be able to use the AutoSum function to get the total sum of the pounds received in column J on the Sales Order Received tab. As mentioned earlier, the AutoSum button is located on the Home button in the Editing section. Select the blank cell below the values in column J that you would like to use to sum. By pressing the AutoSum button, Excel will automatically select all of the values in that column to give you the total sum of the value of pounds received for that specific material code. Once you get the total sum of pounds received by material code, which is column J on the Sales Order Received tab, you can verify that total with the total value of pounds received during the month, column J, on the MPR Summary tab, as shown on this slide. Just to clarify, it is column J on both of the worksheets. For the next example, I will show you how to verify the monthly pounds used by material code in the Usage Part B tab. First, you must filter the worksheet by material code, then AutoSum the pounds used by that specific material code. This will be done in column N. Once you select AutoSum, Excel will automatically select all values in column N to give you a total sum. After getting the total sum, verify that the total sum from column N on the Usage Part B tab matches the value for that material code 110242 on the MPR Summary tab, which is column L. This is one of the reconciliation steps that you will find in the training resources that I will cover later in this webinar. For Summary End Product Data Schedule SEPDS verification, you must filter the worksheet by material code and then by end product number, which is column I, to get the drawdown pounds per end product. On this slide, it shows where you compare the SEPDS with the MPR to verify that the drawdown amounts in column L are correct. If you would like to verify a different material code, you must first reset the filter and repeat the steps we just covered. Each year, when you receive the July MPR, it is critical to verify the number of pounds in the prior school year used reduced year-to-date column, which is column T, are correct. Verify that column T matches the prior year June MPR year-to-date pounds delivered. The prior MPR template used slightly different language when describing this data, so you may see it shown as less amount delivered, commodity delivered, or commodity shipped. While managing inventories, users can multiply column U by 6 to determine the allowable level of inventory for a particular item. This information may be useful in the development and approval of an inventory reduction plan. When SDAs are reviewing MPRs month over month, the values in column T should not change. If your state is diverting to a processor for the first time, there will be no data in this column. As I mentioned earlier, the months on hand column is a new feature of the state MPR template. Column U represents the prior school year average monthly use. This value is the prior school year used reduced year-to-date pounds, which is column T, divided by a 10-month school year. To verify the months on hand inventory on the MPR Summary tab, divide column R, monthly ending inventory, by column U, prior school year average monthly usage, to get column S, months on hand inventory. A red number indicates the months on hand inventory exceeds the acceptable inventory level. We recommend you review Policy Memo FD064. I will cover how to access this memo when I get to the resources section of this webinar. The goal of inventory management is for the RA to receive and utilize their USDA foods in the school year ordered. If inventory levels are over 6 months, we recommend the state work closely with the processor to ensure the inventory is reduced to the acceptable inventory limit prior to the end of the school year. As outlined previously, it is the SDA's responsibility to monitor and manage USDA food inventories at processors. SDAs are permitted to approve inventory levels at processors that are higher than 6 months. FNS recommends that SDAs require processors to submit requests for higher inventories as part of the processor's December MPR so that the SDA can take action when needed to manage and reduce inventories at the processors. Processors should submit a written request to the SDA prior to and in anticipation of surpassing the 6-month inventory limit. The justification must include specific plans for USDA food drawdown, product promotion or sales expansion, and must demonstrate the processor's ability to efficiently store and process such quantity of USDA food. For more information about managing inventories at the processor, go to the Processing Partner Web homepage. This document was created to easily use on your computer, so you do not need to print it. The format lends itself to be able to perform simple Excel features in order to make the data easier to read, be more organized, and find the information you need without trouble. We recommend that you set up an electronic file structure on your computer or network to store the new state MPRs in order to retrieve them quickly and virtually. If you would like to learn more about navigating in Microsoft Excel, consider selecting the help feature in Excel called Tell Me What You Want to Do. It is located above your Excel navigation ribbon. Also, using Google is helpful when you want to learn how to do specific functions in Excel. Lastly, there are many YouTube videos that will reinforce the basic Excel instructions I've covered today. The web address listed on this slide allows you to access the processing resources I mentioned in this webinar. Follow the web address in your internet browser to log into the USDA Foods National Processing Community Partner Web. The USDA Foods National Processing Community Partner Web contains a number of useful SDA and industry resources, policies, and processing trainings to help manage your state performance reports and processor inventory levels. To locate the SDA MPR template from the main page, mouse over Libraries to see the location of the SDA and the industry resources. Under SDA Resources, you can find the State MPR template in the Processing Forms folder. Once you are in the folder, the State MPR template for school year 1920 is listed. Click on the document to open and/or download it. The state MPR template is also in the Industry Resources folder. Once in the Industry Resources folder, go to Monthly Performance Report Resources. Once you are in the Monthly Performance Report Resources, you will find the State MPR template. Policy Memo FD 064, which references the new calculation for inventory months on hand, is in the Policy corner located in the main library menu. You can open the memo by clicking on the document link and saving it for future reference. To find the Reconciliation and Inventory Management Training, go to the home page and click on the Processing Training link, which is located on the right side of the home page. Once you are on the training page, scroll down to find the links for the Advanced Processing and Reconciliation Training and Inventory Management at Processors Training. If you need assistance in reconciliation, we recommend that you view the Advanced Processing and Reconciliation Training. The reconciliation principles are applicable and will be useful in assisting with reconciling your MPRs. That concludes today's webinar. I hope I've provided you with helpful and useful information. If you have any additional questions, please contact the USDA Foods Processing Team at mpa@usda.gov.